Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Hi everybody, this is Black Runner Ranger, and happy International Women's Day. Now earlier I said I probably wouldn't do a live stream like this as I, a man, am not one to speak for anybody on this day, and I worry and I try to make sure most of my live streams are as gender neutral as possible, allowing both male and female options, and basically have as every one of my fans and whoever's viewing this feel a bit welcomed. But for this occasion, since I'm a gigantic fan of the Little Miss series, which is a book series by Mr. Man author Roger Hargreaves, I feel like I found a way to try and do this celebration, and let's say do International Women's Day with my favorite book series as a kid, The Little Misses. Now, truth be told, The Little Misses I'm more of a fan of The Little Misses than I am the Mr. Men, because let's say there's more personality in the Little Misses. There's more interaction between the Mr. Man and the Little Misses within those books. In the original Mr. Man, it's mostly Mr. Men by themselves, either with an animal or a human, rarely with another Mr. Man. But the Little Misses, they're almost always with a Mr. Man character, sometimes with a Little Miss. And that's why I got attached to them so much. So for this occasion, for this live stream, all you gotta do is request me to draw something related to the enlisted Mr. Little Miss characters. And these are the types of drawings I can do. I can do the book style, as in done in the style of Roger's book series, and if possible, I'll do it in the style of the Mr. Man show, the 2000 Make American show, which was also later dubbed in the UK, like Calamity or Daredevil. There's Little Misses meeting crossover characters, Little Misses dressing up as the crossover characters, Little Misses doing something, and male crossover characters. What I cannot do are crossover characters dressing up as the Little Misses, because, let's be honest, aside from the hats and whatever they did to their hairs, they got no clothes on. Now, don't get... No, I don't mean that in the wrong... Don't take that the wrong way, I swear. I mean, they're basically giant ovals. That didn't come out right either. I'm sorry. Oh dear. They're super cartoony, let's say. They're super cartoony. I also cannot allow humanizing Little Misses. I just want to try and draw them like how they were in either the books or the Mr. Men show. And I won't bother with the Mr. Men. I'm saving that for their own live stream. So that's it, really. Just ask me what to do with the Little Misses. And also, fellas, the Superchat system is back. So if you like, you can request me, you can donate as much money as you want for a rule-free or a theme-free request. And I'll do them offline to keep up my schedule and stuff. If all the super chat system requests are done offline. If you have nothing to request, just ask me any questions. So what's the first request? Okay, I'll take a look at that when I finish the live stream. Alright. Little Miss Bossy. Okay. Little Miss Bossy it is. Okay, let's find a wop peach. What is a wop peach? Pizzas with pizzas with Okay, but it's not necessarily a rule-free request, but it is. I mean, a rule-free or theme cream, but it seems simple enough. Now, okay, so for those who don't know about the Little Misses, allow me to explain to you each individual character. Allow me to tell you the story from what I remember of the Little Misses. The Little Miss Bossy is basically a person who is how should I say this? Kind of a Karen in a way. And Karen by the 1980s standards, let's say, since she was made in the 1980s. Now, of course, that everybody in Mr. Manland was like getting really tired of her bossiness. So much so when even a wizard was summoned, the wizard then casts a spell, giving her 2 boots that talk, and they walk by themselves. Meaning, and they keep going right, left. She tried to put her foot down, but she couldn't because they wouldn't, because they just wouldn't let her. So in the end, after a while, she learned not to be super bossy, and the boots disappeared, and she started making friends with people. That's basically the story of Little Miss Bossy. Keep in mind, this was made in the 1980s. I don't know how any of this can be taken in at this day and age. Now, to make sure that's not teeth, I'm just going to color in some pepperoni. That's okay. That's Little Miss Bossy, and let's see. So this is a different type of character overall. Can I ask, fellas, what is Wapeach or Wapeach? It's is this a new character in? Is it a character that a new character Nintendo made up, or is it a new fan-made character, kind of like Bowsette? And no, that did not go well. Sometimes I accidentally like to put the hairs of the. Sometimes I like to put the eyes within the overlapping hair, kind of like what they did with Star Butterfly. Now look, now, just trying to think. Okay, I think that's the best I can do for Wap Peach. So there we go, fellas. Little Miss Bossy is done. Who's next? Okay, let me see. What did I miss out? Wait. Oh, it was an unreleased character. Oh, okay. So Little Miss Whoops is an unreleased character, and apparently, there's Little Miss Whoops. Is it the book version or the book version or the book version or the Mr. Man show version? The book version where she looks like Mr. Bump, but or is it the Mr. Man show? Oh, it's the Mr. Man show version. Yeah, there's actually now here's a funny thing with the Mr. Men series. The Mr. Man in the Mr. Man show, the Mr. Man and Little Misses will sometimes have differences from their book counterparts. For example, Mr. Rude in the book he has a hat. In the Mr. Man show he has none. Oh, sure, I'm a trained professional. Sorry, I'm just remembering. The Mr. Man show has a lot of different catchphrases. Yeah, in fact, I can see if I can remember how many Mr. Men catchphrases there are. There's whoops, or oh sure, I'm a trained professional. And Mr. Bump is poopity poop. Do you really think this is a good idea? Of course, there's also, if you're in the UK, you probably heard a different version, but you go, oh, poopity poop. Poop. And instead of whoops, it's whoops. Something like that. Or, of course, Mr. Stubborn, where he goes, this something is cheap. Or, just a quick moment. Let me just take a look at. That's it. I have to make, if I want to be like accurate to the low, I have to make sure she's kept that bow. And oops. Okay, that's next. Wait, am I missing something? Yeah, I'm just double checking if. Okay, I got my next one. Little Miss Hugging. Okay, so it's a battle for B. Oh wait, just a quick moment. I just want to fetch something. Okay, so what's the character's name again? It's X. Now, I'll admit, the reason why I wanted to do this live stream is because the Little Misses are, and also the Mr. Men are, one of the simplest characters to draw. Like, they're so easy to draw that that I can literally, I don't have trouble spending an hour or two drawing as many characters as I can. Like, I could probably draw at least 20 in about 1.5 hours, or even just maximum 2 hours. Yeah, it just took me some time to realize that Little Miss Hug, who's one of the more recent ones, is she's literally shaped like a heart. You know, kind of like that queen from Lego Batman. I mean, Lego, the Lego Movie 2. Oh, there's something I'm missing. There we go. Little Miss Hugs is done. Okay, who's next? Join request from the... Yes, I am that. I am aware of that, but sorry, I'm just Yes, okay, right, let's have a look. Okay, where is it? Where am I supposed to look for that? Where is it? I'm trying to remember what was it again? I'll have to come back to that later when things are sorted out better. So who does Little Miss Naughty, or as Freaky Fred would say, Little Miss Naughty? Are you ever naughty? Now, Little Miss Naughty is another one where the book is different from the Mr. Men show version is different from the book. In the book, she's basically just like an oval character with a green bow. In the Mr. Men show, she's all poofy haired. So, which one do you want me to do? Let's see. Okay. Well, let me have a look who this character is. I think it might be a little too complex. Okay, it's like it has to be Mr. Men or Little Misses. Yes, it can't be. It has to be. I mean, it has to be the characters from the Little Misses. It can't be other characters. They have to be Little Misses with the crossover characters if necessary. Anyways, what was I? Oh, that's another complex one. Let's see. Hey, you know what? I think I'll try. I'll try it. And while you're at it, ask me. I don't think I can do Athena because like I said, I have a little trouble with the anime-ish characters. They're extremely detailed, and I'm not sure if I can do the detailed characters. Like I said, this is why I wanted to do the Mr. Men or Little Misses, because they're quite simple. Just not sure if I can do the anime stuff. Sometimes I just can't help myself. That's her catchphrase. Now now in the story of Little Miss Naughty, it's basically she does her usual mischievous things. Now here's another funny thing. In the 1980s, there was a TV series of the Little Misses. I'm sure some of you might have seen some of the episodes. I did post a link to as many different Mr. Men, Little Miss classic episodes as possible. And just to give you an idea of what type of live stream you're about to witness. And Little Miss Naughty, there's a bit of a deviation from the original Little Miss Naughty book and the episode adaptation of the Little Miss Naughty story. For example, the character. Of course, in the book, she knocks over the hat of Mr. Uppity, who is nowadays called Mr. Snooty because apparently it has a controversial background. The name Uppity has a bit of a controversial background of knowing your place. Hence why he's nowadays called Mr. Snooty. But rather than pranking Mr. Clever by painting cracks over glasses, Mr. Instead, in the show, she the 80s show, she instead steals Mr. Greedy's prized turkey, which he was cooking in the oven, and was replacing it with a sausage. And she also did a prank on Mr. Bump and Mr. Small, who do make a cameo in the TV series version, the 80s TV series version of that episode, but their roles are mainly given to Mr. Mean and Mr. Worry. So what did she do to Mr. Worry? What should he do to Mr. Mean or Mr. Stingy in some places? Well, she went to an expensive restaurant and ordered as many different expensive dishes as possible, and she sent the bill to Mr. Mean. Naughty girl. What a shock! And then she went to see Mr. Worry, and she tells Mr. Worry that he's got spots. Oh dear, says Mr. Worry. So he went to the doctor about his spot problem, and then the doctor took out a mirror from his drawer, and he's like, wait a minute, there's no spots? Why would somebody say such things to me if it wasn't true? So then everybody gathered around to say something must be done about Little Miss Naughty. So they decided, Mr. Worry had an idea. He decided to call upon an old friend who, I won't say who his name is, but let's say he can do some of the most impossible things. Like making himself invisible, of course. That happened in his book. So at one point, Little Miss Naughty was supposed to prank Mr. Nosy, who was sleeping under a tree. Then, in the book, Little Miss Naughty felt a little twitch on her nose, and it keeps something's honking her nose, and so she ran away, wondering what it was. In the TV show adaptation of the story, instead, the brush jumped, got some paint on itself, and began to chase Little Miss Naughty with the paint. And then, trying to remember what was the other thing she did to prank. But in the TV series, she was about to prank Mr. Jelly, who was waiting at the bus. But then Little Miss Naughty was about to pull a big prank by popping a very big balloon. Now, Mr. Jelly is basically the UK's Mr. Nervous. Being jelly is basically a UK term for being a scaredy cat. But before she could pop Mr. Jelly, something happened. The balloon became larger and larger, and Miss Neat began to lift off the ground. and then suddenly a bird popped it, and she fell into the duck pond. And her final prank was to have Mr. Lazy was to knock on Mr. Lazy's door with a pole. Then suddenly her nose began to tweak. Suddenly she ran home holding her nose, and after that she stopped being naughty. And then Mr. Worry came to congratulate who else? Mr. Impossible. And that's how the story ends. Okay, let me shrink the character a little bit. Ray. There we go, fellas. That's Little Miss Naughty. And now we come to my most favorite of the Little Misses. Or is there another super chat thing that happened? Let me just double check. Okay, nothing. Next up is Little Miss Neat, who is my most favorite of the Little Misses. Are you able to draw Equestria Girls? Pinkie Pie is thumbs up. I think I can manage to do that. I mean, I have drawn Equestria Girls many times before during paid requests, and I think I seem to improve on drawing the Equestria Girls. I think I might have another shot at trying to draw them. I might have to change my top 11 types of requests I will never draw for free again, because I think I have better confidence of trying to draw Little Miss, the Equestria Girls characters. Anyways, sorry I cannot humanize them, whatever those are. Anyways, what's next? You see, Calamity. It's, okay, a lot of people don't. Mayday's guitar, that's a new one. Well, what was that again? No straight roads. Okay, so the character wants me to. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember. All right. Now, for those who don't know about Little Miss Neat, of course, when you hear the term neat, you think something super tidy, super clean, right? Here's the thing about Little Miss Neat. She lived in a place called Two Pin Cottage. It was called Two Pin Cottage because the house is as neat as two pins. Little Miss Neat was a very tidy person in the world. Probably the tidiest person in the world. She couldn't stand a mess. So every day she spent the entire day polishing and dusting and cleaning and putting everything in its proper place. And here's an example of how OCD-ish she can be. One night, one morning, she looked out to the bedroom window. It had been raining during the night, and there was a puddle in the middle of a garden path. So she rushed outside with the duster, and she mopped up every drop of puddle, and then she rushed inside and washed the duster, and then she ironed the duster, and then she folded the duster, and then she placed the duster very neatly back in its drawer. And then, now, this story is about the time, and then, now that's her character overall. She's just very neat and tidy, often making sure everything is neat as two pins. Now, in the story of Little Miss Neat, she was about to go on vacation, and then when she is about to leave, she hopes she hopes nothing gets too dusty while she's away. Now, here's a funny thing. Earlier that week, a character named Mr. Muddle wrote to Little Miss Neat like he was about to be invited to tea. But being Mr. Muddle, he had a letter in one of his hands and a cheese sandwich in the other half. And knowing that he is Mr. Muddle, can you guess what he did? Did he post the letter? Or did he instead do the unthinkable and post a sandwich? I think you know what happened. And then when he arrived at Little Miss Neat's house, he knocked on the door. There was no reply. So, while waiting for Miss Neat to arrive, he made himself a cup of tea and waited. And waited. And waited some more. And by the time he drank the tea, when he made more tea, it was getting dark, and it was time for him to go home. And then suddenly Little Miss Neat finally came back home, and when she came back home, everything didn't look too dusty at first. But then she noticed something went a little bit of amiss. She found her teapot in the refrigerator, not in its proper place. It was like I said, in the refrigerator. And she eventually found the milk, not in its proper place, in the teapot, and the tea in the sugar bowl, and the sugar in the milk jug, the cup in the oven, and the saucer in the bread bin. But could she find the teaspoon? She could not. Suddenly the telephone rang, and Little Miss Neat picked it up. And then it turns out it was Mr. Muddle on the phone. And she's like, "Have you paid a visit since I came?" Yes. Yes, Mr. Muddle said. "And, can I see you now that you are back from your holiday?" "I suppose so. Goodbye." "Hello, hello," said Mr. Muddle. And when he put the phone down, Little Miss Neat was about to relax on her table, and then suddenly she found the teaspoons and knives and forks. Where were they? Under her couch. I don't think she'll be taking another holiday for a long time, do you think, fellas? There you go, fellas. Little Miss Neat polishing Mayday's guitar. Oh wait, let me just double check on. Oh, I got another one. All right, so who's next? Okay, Offscreen. Okay, I'll remember that. All right, so next up is Little Miss Sunshine. She is arguably one of, if not the most recognizable of the Little Misses. Right up there with Mr. Happy as the mascot for the Mr. Men. She is she's basically gender swapped Mr. Happy. All sunshine and rainbows. In fact, in her story, yes. Now that's a new one. Wait. Now here's another funny thing. Now in the Mr. Men show, she's pretty much one of the few characters in the Mr. Men show who looks almost completely identical to her original book counterpart, which means I can basically have her. I can have her in any version I like, and it would fit fine. Pardon me. That would be me, Mr. Rude. Pardon me, I mean, Mr. Rude. Oh, pardon me. Now, in Little Miss Sunshine's story, she was just driving, and then she came across a a place called Miseryland where everybody is 100% miserable. She decided to brighten things up by bringing some happiness. She said, "Why are you so miserable?" The king says, "Because this is Miseryland. Everything is so miserable." "No, that can't be the reason." So she decides to change the sign and say, "Welcome to I think it was it Maryland, or was it Maryland, or was it I can't remember, but it's basically another version of Happy Land or something." And she and then the king smiled and everybody was happy. That was it. That's the end. So that's all the story is of Little Miss Sunshine. She comes to Misery Town, sees the king is absolutely miserable. She changes things to becoming sunshine and lollipops, and everything was all sorted out in the end. No big deal. Now here's another funny thing. In the original 1980s cartoon, which is a British one, by the way, she came with an American accent, and it was in the British version. It was in the British version. And this ideology of Little Miss Sunshine having an American accent in British shows got dropped immediately. Little Miss Sunshine in the Mr. Man show, the UK dub, completely British. In the Little Miss Sunshine in the 1990s Mr. Men show, also British. Oh, what about Little Miss Tiny? Not only one of the smallest of the little misses, but also one of the cowardice. She basically she's very small and she had nobody to talk to, so she went out and about, and she hopes the cat doesn't get her. Unfortunately, the cat did in fact see her. I'm not sure what to do. I mean, I can't find you. Little Miss Badham. Oh, okay. I remember. Sorry, I'm just trying to find your. I was just trying to find your mate. I was just having trouble finding it everywhere. Okay. Now so this one's another one of the more recent ones. Little Miss Bad. She's basically you're not gonna believe this, but there are 4 Mr. Men characters who basically have the same personality as one another. Actually, there's actually quite a number of Mr. Men and Little Misses whose personalities are quite similar to one another. There's Little Miss Bad, Little Miss Trouble, Little Miss Naughty, and Mr. Mischief. And what do they all have in common? They are very naughty. Let's have Little Miss Bad be in a bush. So what's Little Miss Bad's story? Little Miss Bad apparently she like Mr. Mischief and Little Miss Trouble, Little Miss Naughty, she likes to cause some trouble. And so she and then there was a trouble award for who can pull off the biggest prank, and then so she attended. She attended and she announced it to everyone what she could do, but everybody was frowning upon her, realizing that she was speaking to the ones who actually pranked, who she actually pranked, including Mr. Forgetful, Little Miss Neat, Mr. Worry, Mr. Snooty. I must remember to call him that. Little Miss Splendid, Mr. Greedy, and and so forth. She then apologized and had everybody. She then apologized and everything went back to normal. Well, not quite for Mr. Forgetful. His car still looks a bit like a mess. That's the story, really. The Mr. Man stories are very small and also very simple, so it's quite easy to follow them. Which is why I'm not sure if I can if a Mr. Men movie would work, since the stories are very simplistic. I mean, how do you stretch something that's about 5 to 7 minutes long into a 70 or 90-minute movie? Hey. I guess that's the same thing a lot of people have with the other Zeus adaptations, where how can you turn the Grinch story into a 90-minute movie? There are at least 2 attempts of that, and the results are quite mixed. And also, you could argue, since the Mr. Men designs are a little similar to that 2017 film about these little faces on your smartphone, probably for the best that we probably shouldn't have a Mr. Man or Little Miss movie. Okay, so again, back to Tiny. Who should it be? Wait, let me just double check on some. Now, Little Miss Tiny is a character that I think I have said this, but like I said, she is one of the more cowardliest characters of the show. But she's not the cowardliness. There are other Little Mr. Men and Little Misses who you could say are a little bit more cowardly. And we'll get to one of them in a moment. Admittingly, when I saw the Little Miss Tiny short, even though I got scared, even though I'm a grown adult, I actually got a bit scared knowing because not because the cat is about to eat Little Miss Trouble, but the music of the showing in the music presenting the danger of Little Miss Tiny about to be eaten by the cat. That's what's haunting the music. It's like a danger type of thing. I was like, oof, scary. And thankfully, Mr. Strong was there to rescue Little Miss Tiny from certain doom. And she actually came across other Mr. Men, and she met someone quite special, Mr. Small. And Mr. Small said, I never thought I would see somebody who is smaller than I am. And then she said, just wait until I get big, says Little Miss Tiny. Now this isn't my first I'm just trying to remember. Aside from aside from some of the Mr. Men show requests I have received, this isn't the. Oops, this is the wrong font. Sorry about that. This isn't the first time I was requested to do something Mr. Men related. I actually did remember during my Super Mario Brothers challenge. I did do a Little Miss. I did draw a Little Miss character interacting with Shy Guy. And don't worry, once again, we'll see that character in a moment. There we go, fellas. Little Miss Tiny interacting with Lucy. Now we come to the other mischievous character. Hopefully she's the last mischievous character to be on this list. Little Miss Trouble. Oh. Okay, let's see. I can't do Mr. Tickle. Remember, it's the Mr. Men, therefore another live stream. I just want to do the Little Misses because it's their special day. Heck, it's their special month even. So I can't. No. Remember. It has to be the Little Misses dressing up as the costume characters. Not the crossover characters dressing up as the Little Misses. It's not. That's not how it works. Ooh, that's an interesting one. So what was it you want me to do again? Oh, okay. Now, Little Miss Trouble is, like I said, is a little bit like Little Miss Naughty in a sense, or Little Miss Bad. So this is what but unlike Little Miss Naughty, where you see the prank, or Little Miss Bad, where you see the pranks, this is what Little Miss Trouble does. She tells a lie. In fact, she says to Mr. Mr. Snooty and Mr. Clever that Mr. Small called them very rude names. They were somebody else. And then they go up to Mr. Small and they punched him in the eye, and he ends up with 2 black eyes. Now, in the TV series version, not in the 80s, actually, that's not right. Sorry, I don't think I did this right. In the 80s cartoon, she tells Mr. Uppity, Mr. Clever, and Mr. Worry simultaneously what Mr. Small called them, and then they rushed over to Mr. Small, and he ends up with just 1 black eye, not 2 in the I'm not very good with Little Miss Trouble. So her hairstyle's a bit off. Oh, never mind, I'll just go with this. And never mind. I'll go back to the start. Let me try the hairdo again. Yeah, that's better. Oh, so sorry. It's taking me a while to figure out how the heck this the hairdo is supposed to go. So then Mr. Small went to see the doctor of his injuries, and he says it's little Miss Trouble. She's going on a bit of a rampage. So then the doctor gave him an idea. What if she had a taste of her own medicine? So Mr. Small went to see Mr. Tickle, and and Mr. Bumble. What did she call them? Mr. Nitwit or Mr. something. And then they come to little Miss Trouble, and they're like, how dare you call me Mr. Nitwit? And then they start tickle and bumping her. Tickle bump, tickle bump, tickle bump, tickle bump, tickle bump. And then the doctor went to see little Miss Trouble. And she felt very, very sorry for herself. She sat on the floor feeling sorry that she got and then the doctor said, well, that's what happens when you see, you got a taste of your own medicine. That's the end. No, I think it was yeah, that's it. Oh dear. What if... Oh, should little Miss Trouble realize that she's about to prank something that's a monarchy in the demon realm, like essentially a very important figure in the Boiling Isles. There we go, fellas. We have Little Miss Trouble pranking King from the Owl House. Oh, dear. Oops, I made her small. Let me grow them a little bit. There we go. Okay. Bossy, naughty, neat, sunshine, tiny, whoops, hug, and bad, and trouble are done. So that leads to Little Miss Giggles. Now for I got another one. Okay, let's see. Oh, Little Miss Calamity. Celebrate their first super on the live stream. Thank you. Now, Little Miss Calamity, she's an exclusive character to the Mr. She's an exclusive character to the Mr. Men show. One of her common catchphrases is "What a calamity!" And she just everything, let's just say Murphy's Law is not very kind on her. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And in any situation she was in, she's just having a lot of bad luck. In fact, one episode of the Mr. Men show, I remember she was like making some yeast. She was making some cinnamon buns, so she made the dough, and she's like, when after adding in some yeast, suddenly she's like, I can't remember if I added in the yeast. I don't think so. So After she added in some more yeast, Mr. Small is like, Mr. Small and Mr. Nosy, they tend to stop by to check on the cinema buns, because they usually go to their place to the place for cinema buns. So while waiting, they play some jacks. Then, while Little Miss Calamity was listening to music on her iPhone, yes, because it was in 2008, those were common back then. Suddenly, oh no, a giant monster made of dough. Oh no, I think I added in so much yeast. Oh, what a calamity! And outside, Mr. Nosy and Mr. Small were still playing jacks, oblivious to the fact that Little Miss Calamity is in danger. Help! That dough is a mind of its own! Sorry, I'm trying not to raise my voice too much. My folks are napping, let's say. Strange. I seem to be selling some cinnamon buns by now. Help! Gee, Mr. Small, I thought we'd go to Tuesday for a cinnamon bun. It wouldn't be a Tuesday without one. Mr. Nosy, Mr. Small. Well, maybe we can skip on doing the cinnamon buns and have them on a Tuesday and go to his dilly and go to the Dimsdale Diner for scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs on a Tuesday. What a daring idea. I say let's get crazy, Mr. Nosy. And also, keep in mind that the Mr. Men characters each have their own different accents. Like especially if you're in the U.S. or the U.K., the accents tend to vary. Like Mr. Bounce has an Indian accent, and Little Miss Helpful has a Texas Southern accent, and Mr. Bumbles has a bit of a Southern accent. Mr. Stubborn has a Nigerian accent, which goes to, and heck, his voice actor is actually of Nigerian descent. He's a comedian too, and you probably might have heard his voice in Steven Universe. And then there's but in the UK version, they also have different accents as well. I mean, Mr. Stubborn has a Scottish accent. Mr. Persnickety or Mr. Pernickety or Mr. Fussy, he has a German accent in the UK, while it's pure British in the US. And here's another funny thing about the Mr. Men show. Since the director was a vegetarian, many of the Mr. Men food products are bean related. They have a bean burger. They have spaghetti and bean balls. Now, occasionally they did have some meat products. I did remember seeing a chicken bone on Mr. Rude's plate, and I did remember seeing Mr. Grumpy having some bacon and eggs. They could be bean bacon and eggs, but they were still definitely eggs, and they did have some milk too. If they were vegans, they would probably not use the milk. Nor would they use eggs. They'd be like Beast Boy. There we go, fellas. Lizzie McGuire meeting Little Miss Calamity. Oh, what a calamity! Thankfully not for Little Miss Calamity this time, for Lizzie McGuire. Oops. Okay, that's taken care of, and I think I've finished with the little free little misses. Let's focus on the ones that Roger Hargreaves made. Okay, where was I on Little Miss? Okay, type request now, okay. Let's see. Alright, just... How about Little Miss Giggles with Bingo Healer with Sage Skunk? And just, okay, now what is it that the guy wants me to... Okay, Little Miss Juice is, okay. Alright, alright, well, the person wants it. Might as well do it. Paula, you meant. Hey, that was a bit of a typo I saw. Okay, have you heard of Pole World? I have not. What is it about? Now, the story of Little Miss Giggles is that she can't stop giggling. She can't stop getting the giggles. Well, she just keeps on non-stop giggling throughout the entire day. But then, one day, she lost her giggle. And she meets up with Mr. Happy, who is one of the happiest characters you'll ever find, and he tries to find ways to cheer her up. They went to Mr. Topsy Turvy, and Mr. Topsy Turvy says, "Morning, good." Everything he says is topsy-turvy. Matter the what's, he says. Doctor. Take Doctor her to. That's an idea. And then, sorry, I'm having a little bit of a... And then finally, she tried to do the doctor's methods, but nothing much. Every time she tried to laugh. It's so sad. So then Mr. Happy found a solution. He gave her a present. She opened the box, and there was nobody. Nobody was there. It's just nothing really. So and then suddenly he said to her, he explained, giggles are invisible. And you know what she did? She laughed. She giggled. I'm just trying to draw the Fire Emblem characters. It's really... Oh dear. I'm just curious to. Now, of course, when I managed to get my monetization back, I was hoping that one of my next live streams were to be something Owl House related, since that's a show I really liked, and I was about to prepare to do its 4th anniversary edition. But then suddenly my computer decided to just die on me before the year ended. Good. So I was thinking I could either delay out my Owl House live stream idea for until next year, or I can probably do it for Pride Month or something. Have that as my primary tribute to Pride Month, and I'll probably allow some others like Nimona and some more LGBTQIA plus shows, if you can think of any. But again, I'm not sure. I think my safest bet is just on the Owl House. And I think was I supposed to There we go, fellas. We have this is the best I can do for Paula with Little Miss Giggles. Paula from Fire Emblem giggling alongside Little Miss Giggles. Let's see. Okay, who's next? Little Miss Helpful. I got another thing. Now what's happened? Okay, and while I wait, I'll just try and do somebody else's Little Miss Helpful and Fox. To build. Okay. Anything I want, huh? I think I found a perfect idea for that. Let me just go back to Urban Legend. Now, the story of Little Miss Helpful is that she tries to, as the Mr. Man show counterpart of her catchphrase says, just trying to be helpful. And she tries to help people, but unfortunately it causes them more problems. For example, in the story she was in, Mr. Tall was just was so tall that he's unable to tie his shoelaces. So Little Miss Helpful, thankfully Little Miss Helpful came passing by and offered to help little Mr. Tall. So what she did, she tried to fix the shoelaces, but she ended up tying them together, and Mr. Tall fell. Now in the book, Little Miss Helpful tried to help Mr. Tall again by having him bandaged up, but unfortunately it didn't help. It bandaged his mouth. Mr. Tall got so fed up, she's like, "Go away!" Now in the TV version of the book, she instead finds a wand and she casts a spell on She casted a spell on Mr. Tall, shrinking him to being no bigger than Mr. Small. He didn't mind. He actually liked it at first, but then Little Miss Helpful was about to no, this is the wrong position. Was about to do a counter spell, like make Mr. Tall again. But she couldn't remember the lines, so she's like, all to tall and small, tall to small and small to tall. No. Tall to small to tall. No, that's not it. Tall to tall. But then, and as the day goes by, he starts sleeping on it. So one day, Mr. Happy was unfortunately the opposite. He was so ill, that the doctor decided to said to him, "You need a lot of rest." So Mr. Happy unfortunately had no choice but to rest. Suddenly there was a knock on the door. Little Miss Helpful called, and so Little Miss Helpful called, and so she and then so she told Mr. Happy where is the, she asked, where is the place, where's the safe, where's the tools. And so Mr. Happy had to keep making sure Little Miss Helpful knows where the places are. And then he went back to bed to try and sleep. And while Little Miss Helpful was about to do some other things, she was about to clean, suddenly she tripped on some soap. She fell onto a bucket on her head, and she couldn't see anything. She ended up crashing into some pots and pans. A pan got stuck on her foot, and she starts being in a mess. And this woke up Mr. Happy. He got out of bed, went to the kitchen to open the door, and he couldn't believe his eyes. Little Miss Helpful is in such a mess. So then Little Miss Helpful, and then Mr. Happy had to try and pull the bucket out of Little Miss Helpful, and what he did, once he pulled the bucket, he flew out of his house. He flew away from his and he kept flying and flying until he stopped at a lake with the bucket on his head. and then Little Miss Helpful, she once again says, "I say, let me help." And that's it. That's the end. Little Miss Helpful didn't really learn anything. She just want to keep on helping. say, can you guess what this thing is a reference to? There we go, fellas. We have Little Miss Helpful. I don't think I did a very good job on the hair. Let me try that again. There, I think that's the best one I can do. There we go, Little Miss Helpful. Oh, I got another one. Let's see, we got Little Miss Chatterbox. Now you probably, although you may be familiar with this character more thanks to the Mr. Men show, she's basically the gender swap version of Mr. Chatterbox, and to a point where she is actually the sister of Mr. Chatterbox. That's a new one. Okay. Now, I kind of forgotten what the story. Okay, actually I remember now. In the original Little Miss Chatterbox story, she basically kept talking and talking and talking and talking and talking while she was doing a job. She basically just kept talking and talking so many times, so much that she says, then by the end of the day, she's like, now it's time to close the shop, and now it's time to close the shop, and see you tomorrow, bye-bye. And leaving the customers feeling empty. Tried to work as a waitress, kept talking so much that Mr. Greedy felt empty. Mr. Happy, he tried to withdraw some money, but Little Miss Chatterbox kept talking so much that she had no choice but to close the bank, leaving Mr. Happy without any money. That's all I can remember, really. That's all I can remember from the Little Miss Chatterbox story. I can't remember Mr. Chatterbox. Mr. Chatterbox's story is that he talks so much that everybody was basically, it's like, what should we do to have him stop chatting so much? So what they did is they gave him a special type of a hat that a type of a hat that keeps getting bigger every time Mr. Chatterbox talked. So the more he chatted, the bigger the hat went, and until nobody was able to hear what Mr. Chatterbox was saying. So then, after a while, he decided, you know what, I won't chat anymore, and he learned his lesson. I'm not sure Little Miss Chatterbox learned her lesson. Of course, a lot of people in the Mr. Men show, a lot of people were annoyed by Little Miss Chatterbox's chatter. In fact, when she was modeling for Mr. Rude's paint portrait, I just love the thing. It's like she has a Valley Girl type of accent. Blah, 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 blah. Are you finished? Says Mr. Rude. Yeah, finished with what? That noise your mouth is making. Oh,
You mean talking? I mean, see, I wouldn't if I talked. You see, it's like, Miss Chatterbox, zip it and sit. Do your thing, Mr. Quiet.
And while Mr. Quiet was busy trying to make sure little Miss Chatterbox was having a bit of a nice pose, suddenly a bird lands next to her.
What is with the canary? Oh, this is Featherhead. She thought she might like an artistic touch.
And then when Mr. Rude was about to continue his painting, wait, something is missing. This painting is boring. So he asked Mr. Quiet to add some extra touches by giving him a giving her a fan. Better.
Artistic touch,
says the canary.
Who are you?
Who asked you, canary?
I just love. Oh, Featherhead likes to do this. He likes to hear. That's the wind at the.
You are making that noise again.
I gotcha. Not another word. Not another word.
Suddenly, something else happened. Something went screwy, and Featherhead's feathers got ripped, and Featherhead was without feathers. He's naked.
Starts flying away. The Featherhead. That's it.
I quit, said Mr. Rude, and Mr. Quiet was left with just feathers in his on his body. And another time, little Miss Chatterbox was with Mr. Persnickety trying to find a very rare bird called the horn-thrusted red spangler. Try saying that 10 times fast. Where she has to make sure to be quiet because the thrusted red spangler only appears once every 100 years, so we must be quiet. And then, unfortunately, little Miss Chatterbox just couldn't stop talking until he finally says, "Please be quiet, please. If you want something to speak, don't. Let nothing come out of your mouth."
So you want me quiet? You want me to be quiet?
Exactly. But as soon as she kept her big mouth shut, something happened. The birds landed on Mr. Persnickety's head.
Mr. Persnickety, there's a bird. Shh! But it's the red. Double shh!
And then suddenly the bird leaves and lays an egg on his head.
Oh, Mr. Persnickety, you missed it.
Missed what?
The horn-thrusted red spangler.
Where?
I tried to warn you, but you said shush, and then you said double shush.
And then, oh dear. And then he pats his head, and then suddenly the egg broke.
Oh, what's this? Oh, did I mention that he laid an egg? Must be very hard. I mean, it's something like that. I mean...
And then he cries. There we go, fellas. Little Miss Chatterbox. Annoying Trishna. Where did I put Chatterbox? There she is. Okay, let's go with Little Miss, let's see if there's anything... Alright, okay, let's see. Little Miss Magic. Now, that one I like. Now, Little Miss Magic lived in Abracadabra Cottage. So, for what I've learned, basically her main contribution is that everything she says. In fact, I actually have the book with me right now. I can read it to you in small details. So, Little Miss Magic apparently, so her specialty is she commands the entire house with her magic. Then, in fact, she says here, the story says Early one morning, Monday morning in summer, little Miss Magic awoke in the bedroom of Abracadabra Cottage. She, which is where she lived. She yawned a yawn and got out of bed. She went to the bathroom to clean her teeth. Squeeze, she said to the tube of the toothpaste, and guess what? The tube of the toothpaste jumped up and squeezed itself onto Little Miss Magic's toothbrush. Honestly, Little Miss Magic isn't called Little Miss Magic for nothing. When she tells something to do something, it does it. She went downstairs to the kitchen. Boil, she said to the kettle, and it did. Toast, she said to the toaster. Spread, she said to the knife, and the knife jumped up and spread some butter onto the toast. Pour, she said to the coffee pot, and sat down for breakfast. Don't you wish you could make things do things like that? You could say this is Encanto before Encanto, let's say, because it's another show that it's a movie where the house is also made of magic, and a lot of people have magic powers to do whatever they want, and they use it as a lifestyle, as a bit of a lifestyle. In fact, and in the story, Little Miss Magic gets a visit from Mr. Happy, who is very much Mr. Miserable, and he says, "Now what was wrong? It was Mr. Tickle. He's basically going on a tickling rampage. He tickled literally everybody in sight. So Little Miss Magic decides to try and solve the problem." After tickling so many residents of the Mr. Men land, including Mr. Mean, Mr. Greedy, Little Miss Plump, who has a different name, but we'll get to her in a moment, and Little Miss Shy, the postman, the policeman, the doctor, 3 dogs, 2 cats, and a worm. Like I said, on a bit of a rampage. So then when she finally met Mr. Tickle, she said 2 magic words: shrink, shrink, and both of Mr. Tickle's arms shrank until they were extraordinarily ordinary. Hey, that's not fair! You spoiled my fun! Well, it might have been fun for you, says Mr. Happy, but sure wasn't fun for us. Crash Team Rumble and its updates in a nutshell. After then, Mr. Tickle came to visit Little Miss Magic, and she asked to have his arms back, but she made a compromise: 1 tickle a day. He had to agree, and when his arms grew back, and in the end, he got the last laugh and had the 1 tickle a day reserved for Little Miss Magic. Another one? Okay. So what's your request? You forgot the cutie and urban legend cutie. Who's the urban legend cutie? Which episode is that one from? Is Shy with Florina, okay. Now, Little Miss Shy is she's actually one of the more tragic characters, because she lived in a house quite far away from everybody else, in a very small house called Thimble Cottage. She of course she is being Little Miss Shy. She actually did not receive she actually felt when she heard a knock on the door, it was just the postman. She ducked under the table in fear. And the postman kept knocking until he's like, well, she must be late. Anybody home? So then he just pushed the post in the letterbox and walked away. And she just waited and waited long after the footsteps just died. She waited some more, and it was dark by the time she finally dared herself to get out of bed, to get out from under the table. Then she found the letter. It was the first letter she ever received in her entire life. Once she opened it, it was a letter from Mr. Funny, who invited Little Miss Shy to his party, and there'll be guests and fun. But she's so nervous, she doesn't know if she wants to go or not. So every day she kept pondering to herself if she should go or not. She's saying, I have to go. But then 5 minutes later, she said, no, I can't go. She couldn't sleep. She kept pondering over lunch, and then every day she was like this until finally party time happened. And guess what she did? She just couldn't go. She was just too shy. She was just too shy to go. She just stayed home, and she just and she was sobbing. She just felt like it was too much for her. She just couldn't take the pressure. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. And then walked in Mr. Funny. And she's like, oh, I come to take you to the party. Yeah, come on, off we go. And then everybody greeted her, and she was although she had a nervous start, she meeting everybody like Mr. Tickle, Mr. Greedy, and even Mr. Mischief, who did something mischievous that caused her to spill some juice on Mr. Small, but he didn't mind really. He said, no, that's all right. And then, as the longer she stayed at the party, the more she was very glad she actually attended the party. And then she met someone very special in her eyes. His name was Mr. Quiet. And he asked, and she's like, it's very nice to meet you. It's very nice for me to meet you too, says Mr. Quiet.
I was wondering if, would you like to come for tea tomorrow?
Tea? Tomorrow? Says Mr. Quiet. And then he blushed, debatably even more than Little Miss Shy, and he fainted. And that's how it ends. Apparently Little Miss Shy has actually met somebody who's just as, if not more shy than her. And I think some people have said that Mr. Quiet and Little Miss Shy are meant for each other. Because they're very like I said, they're very shy towards both in both worlds, and of course, Mr. Man and Little Mrs. is not really the romantic type of is not really the type for romance, because I'm sure the more you think about it, how do the Mr. Men reproduce? There are some things you should not think about, especially with something like the Mr. Men. Like, why is there only one Tickle? Why is there only one Happy? Actually, there are two Happies. One is named Happy and the other is named Sunshine. Although Little Miss Shy did not appear in the Mr. Men show, Mr. Quiet did. And while he wasn't as cowardly as as presented in the original book or the TV show version, he was a bit concerned, and he tried to warn other Mr. Men of some dangers. He's like, "Oh, help, guys, look." But he was so quiet that nobody could hear him. "Oh, guys, help! I just wanted
Oh, you wanted a bean burger? Oh, one? Here. Okay, one bean burger. All I wanted was a glass of water. What, you wanted water? Why didn't you say so in the first place?
Huh.
Oh, what a calamity.
There was even and the funniest thing is that in the thing with Mr. Quiet, in the book, it says that he lives in a place called Noisy Land, which is, oddly enough, not the place where Mr. Noisy lives. Mr. Noisy lives in a place called Wobble Town. And it says in the book, he says Mr. Noisy would probably like to live there, but Mr. Quiet, on the other hand, did not enjoy living there. He said it was just too loud. Everybody just couldn't get his orders right. There's like, excuse me, I like a piece of meat. He says, and what? He says, I said I like a piece of meat. Can't hear ya. Next. So, and then he went to bed hungry. He just couldn't get what he wanted because nobody could pay attention to him. So in the end, he finally got a job working in the library, where you have to be quiet. People are reading books. Just trying to think, what else? The Mr. I'm sorry, I'm just thought of something random. In the Mr. Man show, believe it or not, Mr. Quiet is neighbors with Mr. Noisy. And sometimes Mr. Noisy would just barge into Mr. Quiet's house for something. Sorry about that, Mr. Quiet. I won't be long. I just gotta pick up something. Oh, but sir, that's my... don't worry, I'll be just fine. And here's another funny thing. Mr. Noisy actually works in the library, and he tells people to shh. Like Mr. Fussy or Persnickety, he's like, excuse me, Mr. Noisy, shh. But I was wondering if Mr. Persnickety, this is a library, and in such there is no talking. Yes, I realize this. Now I was just wondering, if I had to break the rules for you, I have to break them for everyone. But shh, I already shh. Oh, very well. I will find the book on my own. Much better. Next. And then, even when he whispers, he does not get away scot-free, like, just the book I was looking for. I'm warning you, Persnickety. Suddenly, little Miss Daredevil, being pushed on a cart by Mr. Strong, bumps into Mr. Persnickety, and everything went tumbling down. Miss Daredevil, this is a library, not some jungle gym. You have left me no choice, Mr. Persnickety. I'm afraid I have to ask you to leave. But she tried to run me over. Probably because you were talking. People have been wanting peace and quiet. By the way, did you know who voices Mr. Noisy in the American Mr. Men show? Richard Epker, the same guy who played Raiden in several Mortal Kombat media, including vs. DC Universe, 2011, X, guest appearance in Injustice, and Mortal Kombat 11. That was the last time we hear him play Raiden before he was replaced by a younger actor to play Raiden and Travis Willingham to play him in other as an alternate incarnation of Raiden, and also in Mortal Kombat Onslaught. And oops, and that wasn't right. Yeah, I think that's about it. I'm sorry if I wasn't able to do this in the Owl House style. I was a little unprepared for something like that, but no, it's a little too wild. There, I think that this is the best I could do. There. Now let me just move her up a little bit. And shrink a little bit. And also let her blush a little bit. There we go, fellas. We have, oops. We have Little Miss Shy, sharing an apple with Florina. Okay. Now here's another little missus that I'm quite familiar with. Little Miss Splendid. Little Miss Splendid. She is quite splendid, let's say. Oh, what was that comment? Oh, somebody else gave me what's his request? Let's see. What's his thing again? Hi, Number Studios. Did you want something? Okay, while I wait, I'll just go with Little Miss Splendid. Oh, wait, I'm not done with that yet. Okay, let's see here. Let me see if I could try, How am I supposed to have a... Oh, okay, that's better. By the way, I noticed that the Little Miss Splendid character, has had a bit of a redesign in recent years. Yes, in the original Roger Hargreaves book, and even in the TV adaptation of her book. She actually had a bigger nose. I think in the more recent adaptation, in the more recent books, her nose got a bit smaller. Here. Okay, this is the best I can do for Princess Little Miss Splendid as Princess Moorbucks. It's not the best, but I think it's a fine one. Next up, Little Miss Twins, and I think I found the perfect one for this one. Okay, that's a good choice right there. Now Little Miss Twins is I've forgotten what the story is. It's basically the story of, I think the story of the Little Miss Twins is that it's either Mr. Happy or Mr. Nosy. He visits a place called Two Land, and in Two Land, the Little Miss Twins are basic. In Two Land, everything is in doubles. Like even the sentences are doubled. Like for example, the Little Miss Twins. Everything they speak. It ends with a double last word in the sentence. Like,
Hello, hello. Can you please to meet you, you?
oh,
How are you, you? How do you do?
something like that. Basically, it's a similar. It's kind of like how Shrapnel from Transformers speaks. You know,
A little heavier than the electron.
or
Insecticons form. Attack.
in fact, the Little Miss Twins, like I said, everything they do. Not only do they speak in twos, everything they do is in twos. Like they have 2 boiled eggs each. They sent a post to Little Miss they sent a postcard or a letter to Mr. Nosy with 2 stamps. I think the letter was called Mr. Nosy. Because again, they speak in twos. Now, what was it about? Sorry, I'm just reading one of the comments. What about you? Well, you have to have a Mr. Men or Little Miss character involved with your request. I know you want to do the QTs of the Loud House, but can you have them interact with any of the Little Miss characters? What should do with the? Oh yeah, I forgot about what those shockers look like. Okay, here it is. Nowadays twin characters is nowadays often seen as a bit of a. Nowadays you could say it's a little bit lazy that the twin characters look exactly the same as each other and they do almost exactly the same as each other. Case in point in Coconut Fred, there are these two bananas who look the same and act exactly the same, and it's hard to tell who's who. There are definitely ways to make twin characters that are quite distinguishable from one another. For example, Chip and Skip. Chip and Skip are examples of characters twin characters which can still be quite distinguishable. Chip has they may have the same voice actor, but Chip has a deeper voice while Skip has a higher voice, and Skip also has a badge strap. And another example is Dave and Ping Pong. They both share the same voice actor and even the same voice, but one way you can tell who's Dave and who's Ping Pong by who's taller. Ping Pong is taller than Dave. The Lemmings, on the other hand, I actually have a bit of trouble remembering who's who. But one thing I do remember for them is that they seem to have two moms and two dads. Yeah, if you remember what was the last, who was the winner of the race, of the Parents' Day race, it was Mr. and Mr. and Mrs. and Mrs. Lemming. I best make sure I draw. Actually, let me draw the. I spent a good 2 hours on this. Another example, sorry if I was a bit too loud. Another example is Amra and Edric Blythe. They're twins. They're the Blythe twins, and the older brother and sister of Amity Blythe. And they may have some similarities, but in actualities they're quite different from one another. Both joined the same coven track of illusion, and they do like to pull pranks, but they all have different fears. For example, Edric doesn't like to be alone, while Amra's biggest fear is being stuck with Edric for the rest of her life. That's kind of mean. All right, let me just turn that thing's frown upside down. Oops, I meant turn the entire thing upside down. I don't have time to do a proper tree, so I'm just gonna have it all the way down until it reaches There you go. There we go. Plusso and Minen and or Minem being pranked by the little Miss Twins. Okay. Now here's a special one. Okay, alright, so I got so over here is a character named Little Miss Dottie, who if you remember if you live in the US, you might remember her more as Little Miss Ditzy, because the word Dottie is more or less a British type of word. Quite dotty, let's say, or quite ditzy, let's say. At least she wasn't named Little Miss Derpy. I mean, we already had some controversies with that name. Now her contribution, now Little Miss Dottie or Ditzy, and her contribution is to come up with the most silly, nonsensical type of creativity as much as possible. She basically is she's basically a female version of Mr. Silly or Mr. Nonsense. She lives in the same country of Nonsense Land. Also, she has a few freckles. Now, what was that other? Now, there was a moment when, that's all I can really think about for, that's all I can really think about for, for Little Miss Dottie, but I decided to do this little something. I'm deciding to have I decided to have Scraggy over here. I don't know if you noticed this, but there was a Pokemon short which actually pays tribute to the Looney Tunes. And Scraggy was basically drawn to look a little bit like Bugs Bunny. And I think I remember him trying to get something out of his pants, let's say. So what's he trying to do? Just something to do with his pants, I suppose. Oh, I forgot something. Okay, let's see. What's happening to his poor pants? Oh no! Trying to remember, what did his feet look like? There we go, fellas. We got Scraggy, and his pants look super dotty today. Okay, I think how many more Mr. Men do we got? How many more Mr. Men do we got? Little Miss Late. This one's another easy one to describe. Little Miss Late is, of course, late. That's all you really need to know, fellas. She's late for this, late for that. Little Miss Late is late for everything. In fact, she often has Mr. Silly once invited her to go to the movies with her, and she accepted. And then Mr. Silly then waited and waited and waited some more, and poor Mr. Silly then went home. And then later he decided to stop by at Little Miss Late's house, and she's like, "Hey, Mr. Silly, what will you do? Where were you? I was at the movie theater." Oh dear. And then, in fact, she also is quite, she's quite late for everything. She was a month late for Christmas.
Hi, happy Christmas.
Oh, sorry. She was 2 months late for Easter. And she was 6 months late for summer, but it was still winter. But then it became winter. And when she met with her good friend Little Miss Neat, she decided to they wanted to go shopping. She wanted to go shopping, so it was arriving at 2:00. Then suddenly, Little Miss Late arrived.
Sorry I'm a bit late. Had a lot of things to do.
A bit late, says Little Miss Neat. It's 6:00 and all the shops are shut. Sorry. And she tried to get a job, but every time she tried to get a job, it just wasn't very lucky for her. Tried to go to a bank for a job, the bank closed. Sorry. That was the end of her first job. She tried to be a waitress in a restaurant. Mr. Greedy ordered everything on the menu, but he had to wait so long that he had to go home. Sorry. And that was the end of her second job. And Mr. Snooty asked these letters to be finished but before he leaves. And it took her until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to finish the letters. Finish? Yes, you certainly have. Sorry. And that was the end of her third job. And finally she found a new job, being Mr. Lazy's food server. As Mr. Lazy doesn't bother to get up in the morning, he'll just come down for breakfast at night. That was a perfect job for her. Now here is Little Miss Lucky. Her special ability is that she is the luckiest Little Miss in the world. Nothing can go wrong for her, even if it seems like that. What do you suppose I do with her? Fortune cast Lucky Charms. Huh? That's different. Wait. How is that even possible? Wait. Oh, I'm not sure if I can. Oh, maybe I can. Maybe I can. Now the story of Little Miss Lucky is very, very peculiar. She basically just she was just trying to read a book. Then suddenly she came across somebody at the door. There was a knock at the door. She opened, but there was nobody there. And then suddenly she accidentally locked herself out of the house. And then she came across some random things. Something was like chasing her. Something spooky was about to happen. She ended up in a haystack. Maybe there was a monster. Maybe something else spooky is about to happen. It turns out it was all just a dream. Boy, wasn't she lucky. Oh, nowadays that type of storytelling is nowadays kind of a little insulting. It was fine when Alice in Wonderland did something like that, but nowadays this type of storyline is a bit frowned upon. A lot of people were not pleased when the butterfly effect told one of the boys all turned out to be just a dream. There's even I'm just trying to remember. There was even a moment when well, if you're asking me to do this, and I might as well be as faithful as possible. There's also the butterfly effect, where every loud sister, for some reason, decides to go completely against their personality or do something that's a little bit out of the norm, or go a little too extreme in what they wanted to do, like Luna being with her idol too much, and she goes on a fit, and Lola just got on a rampage. Decides to rebel against everybody because of how ugly she was. There was even an old theory for the Owl House where what if it was all just a dream and Luz was just channeling her creativity? Boy, would that have been insulting. This whole fantasy thing was a lie. Now here is Little Miss Scatterbrain, who you probably know by her gender swap counterpart, Mr. Scatterbrain, in the Mr. Men show. But she was actually the original. What's her contribution? She has no idea what... I remember Butterfly Effect. It gives me Final Destination vibes. It was all a dream.
Normally I would decline this idea, because I was most supposed to be for Mr. Men, because I was thinking maybe the Mr. Men should not be in it this time. But for this occasion, I will make an exception.
Now the story for Little Miss Scatterbrain is that she often she's, like I said, very scatterbrained. She lived in a place called Butterscotch Cottage. And you know what? She tried to remember what her name was. So what she did, she instead put up a sign that says Daisy Cottage. And at one point she tried to go to she went to the butcher's to find herself some sausages. She the bank, she accidentally came across a bank. The bank is like, what do you want? Money? She's like, oh, sausages. Says, sausages? But this isn't the butcher's, this is the bank. I say, oh, silly me. Then I'll just have a withdrawal of a few pounds, that's all. And finally she does eventually get to the butcher's, where she actually finally meets somebody. His name is Percy Pork. And she's like, what do you want? There's some pork? He's like, no, sausages, she says. But the butcher's like, well, but my name isn't sausages.
I know, that's what I came for, says little Miss Scatterbrain. That's really the story. The story's quite confusing, actually. It's a bit of a, let's say, a scatterbrain, let's say. Of course, I think Mr. Scatterbrain is easier to follow than Little Miss Scatterbrain because everything presented in Mr. Men's show is easy to describe when showing Mr. Scatterbrain. Like he was in the shoe shop selling shoes. Mr. Bounce came by. He's like, "Hello, Mr. Bounce. What can I do for you today?" "Yes, Mr. Scatterbrain," says Mr. Bounce. "I would like to have these boots in a size 6, please." "I'm coming right up." "But those are scuba flippers, and the last size 6 we have in store. They are very nice, but I would still like to have these boots in a size 6. And then, "But those are ukuleles, size 6. And then Mr. Bounce just wants to try them on. "So, how do they feel?" "Well, like ukuleles, which I never learned to play. But please, I must have these boots in a size boing." "Oh, Mr. Bounce, would you like socks with those?" Mr. Bounce keeps bouncing out of the small and all over the place. "Hello, goodbye." Now here is Little Miss Star, who basically just wants to, what else? Be the star of the show. She's the star of everything. She wants fame, she wants glory. She's, well, a star. Oh, thank you. I got the same donations from Jane Goliath. Is that how you say that name? Janglite? Okay. Let's see. Let's listen to what the person has to say for the let's see. Another yabba. Okay. Actually, I'm sorry. I don't know I can do that one. I'm not sure if I can do that one. Can I ask for something else, please? I'll find somebody. I'm sorry. I just can't do that one. Can you just change your request to maybe another Little Mrs. Because because I don't know how I can do that one, and maybe I'll just try and do the others in. All right, let's see. What else do we got here? So Little Miss Star, I'm trying to remember what the story is. I do remember how it ends though. She came across a person who decides she's going to make her a star. And he's a very, very familiar person, let's say. And how does he make her a star? Well, she published a book called Little Miss Star. And the story is... you guys are already reading it. It's quite funny that I'm doing the Mr. Men for this because this character almost looks like he can literally fit in with. Now I am aware that Wish is of course not said to be the greatest. I have said that before. Apparently in the concepts, they say that Wish was supposed to be a little shapeshifter from the stars and a potential romantic love interest for Asha. Many people have said, "Oh, that would have been so lovely. We would have gotten a nice little romantic thing with them."
with both Star and Asha. I was like thinking, but for me, I'm like, I kind of saw this already. There's an episode of the 1983 Dungeons and Dragons where a person who's the child of the stars falls in love with Diana the acrobat. Like I say, he's the child of the stars. I like we've kind of already witnessed something like that. Also, don't we think we have enough Disney princesses with romantic interests, and most of them are guys? Well, why can't we have any Disney princesses whose romantic interest is a woman? Just like with Luz and Amity. Then again, it may get banned in places around the world, like where I live. But we still have Disney Plus. We can wait for that to come. Although that's why although Disney Plus is something a lot of people are trying to stay away from because of the price has risen or something like that. Now here's another one of which. All right, let's see. Let's try that again, if possible. Or let me describe the character. Here is a character who has got a name change, not because of different locations, but because the name got changed because of some controversy. Introducing Little Miss Plump or Little Miss Greedy. Now, the reason why the character was renamed from Plump to Greedy, this happened after Roger's death, by the way, is because apparently the word plump is considered offensive to those with obesity and eating disorders. Mind you, I'm a little bit obese myself, but I'm not. Sometimes I wonder sometimes I debate if I should be offended by the name. Actually, I'm not sure what offends me more. Is it plump or greedy? But I won't let that bring me down. Anyways, let's see what we got here. What we got there. What we got here. Bum 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 ba dum dum. That you're greedy nincompoop. I know it's a little strange, but sometimes the little misses would sometimes show a bit of their teeth. They don't do this very often, but sometimes it does a nice grin in my face when I see them with teeth. Okay, Now here's another. Now the story with Little Miss Plump or Greedy is that the story about her is that she just likes to eat a lot. What does she have for breakfast? Sausages. 66 sausages. What does she have? And what else does she have? Toast. 22 slices of toast. But of course, she's in the first version of the book, she was friends with Mr. Greedy. In the revisit version, when she was changed to Little Miss Greedy, it was changed to cousin, and she was delighted. She hasn't seen her in a while. So she finally got to get she brought a little present from Mr. Greedy. It was a nice birthday cake, and then she said this wasn't the only cake I made. The first one was so good I ate it for breakfast. And the other one, I made a second one. It was so good I had it for lunch. And then it took me some time and then I made this one, and it was made specifically for you. And what's the party like? Oh, it's just Mr. Greedy and Little Miss Greedy just eating. That's all. And that's pretty much the story. Now here's another favorite of mine, Little Miss Fickle. She just cannot make up her mind. She just keeps trying to figure out what to decide. Like, maybe I'll have this. No, on the other hand, I'll have that. No. Maybe this. Oh, how about that one? No. I'll have the soup and the followed by the fish. No. I'll have chops instead. And then she finally made up her mind and go with the chops. So, and when she bought the soup, she's like, I'm not hungry anymore. And then there was, she actually tried, figuring out what type of books to get she spent about 3 days in the library because she's having trouble deciding which book. It was a library that had 9,999 books. She spent 3 days there deciding which and every one of these books. And when she finally got the book she wanted, it was her 9,999th book she had chosen. Little Miss Neat was like super worried. She's like, where have you been? To the library. For 3 days? I just wanted to choose a book, that's all. And when she finally took a peek in the book, she said this. Oh, bother. I read it before. I'm not sure if I did a very good job with this one. Let me just add in that little crocodile, and then we got one more character after this. And mainly, I can be a bit of a fickle myself because I'm just sometimes I have trouble deciding which one. Alright, Fickle is done, and finally we got to our last character, fellas. Little Miss Contrary. Thank Lord too, 'cause This year is Digimon Anime's 25th anniversary. Oh, congratulations. So, who is Little Miss Contrary? You may not know this, fellas, but she's kind of like a gender swap Mr. Muddle. She lived in Muddleland, and where everything is topsy-turvy. What's up is down. What's left is right. The worms, they live in the trees. The birds, they live in the holes. Let's see. What was the question? What was the question you... let's see, That's a lot of books. Now, what was the question you wanted? What was the question you wanted? Let me, Now... In fact, in her story, she basically just got a visit from... Now, she actually went to visit Mr. Happy, and things were a bit confusing at first. Who are you? Said Mr. Happy. I'm Little Miss Sunshine. And she says, and Mr. Happy's like, no, I know Little Miss Sunshine, and he's not you, and she's not you. Oh, I know who you are, you're Little Miss Contrary. Like I said, everything she says is completely the opposite. Well, this was a perfect day. Yes, perfectly dreadful. But she mean that in a good way. And she even gave Mr. Happy a present. And what was that present? A pair of socks. Well, not quite a pair of socks. One for not quite a pair of socks. One for one that's blue, one that's black, and one that's white. And that's how the story ends. There we go, fellas. That's it. That's all the the Little Miss characters. And I think there's 2 minutes left. I'm just gonna go with some 2-minute time to answer some questions. Got any questions? Just ask me anything. Well, that was awesome. All right. Have you heard of Rainbow High before? I think I might have. How about Little Miss Inventor meets Lisa Loud? Sorry, it's over. My back is killing me. Can you do a Digimon live stream someday? Well, you may only have to be the first generation because I haven't been a gigantic Digimon fan to be honest. I think Warner Bros. Will soon be liquidated due to their financial problems, but what do you think? Yeah, I do think they may have a case of on a more stronger case of bankruptcy more than Disney. I do hope something does happen because I heard Rooster Teeth, which became a part of Warner Brothers, just got shut down. Do you know I made Family Guy and DreamWorks Request Challenge? Oh, okay. Congratulations. I wish I could have been a part of that, but I was super busy with stuff. Maybe I could do my own someday, but never mind. Do you know about Danger, Maverick, Blue Gator, and SML? I don't know about SML. I know SNL, Saturday Night Live. Are you gonna continue skinny? I will do so, but I am still trying to finish off the commissions, and I'm gonna be super busy throughout March and April because it's close to my birthday, and there's another event I'm attending in April. I can't say what it is, but it's gonna make me super busy for a while, let's say. Sorry you missed out. Here's my next idea for a live stream: Marvel vs. Capcom. That one I might find a little bit challenging. But I might think of something Marvel related next time. If Warner Brothers, who should buy their animation catalog? If Warner Brothers does go bankrupt, I'm not sure who should buy. I mean, there were talks of Paramount and Warner Brothers, but people are saying no, don't do that. I mean, Warner Brothers merging with Paramount, people will lose their jobs and stuff. I have a worry if Warner Brothers does just close, just lose its business completely like that, they may have to be bought by somebody. It's probably going to have to be Paramount or Universal or Disney. For Disney, I can see a chance to see Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny again together, like in Roger Rabbit. Oh, but Lord, no, not Disney. What else? Universal? They own DreamWorks. I'm not sure. I mean, Warner Brothers is really need something. Fire that guy, release the Coyote versus Acme, yada yada yada. What the heck are they gonna do? They're in a gigantic pickle. Universal is my best choice. Alright, what's the next live stream I was predicting is DreamWorks. Now, okay, I think that's about, do you know about Danger Maverick, Blue Dragon, and Super Mario Logan? I have not. So, okay, fellas, I think that's about it. Thank God Warner Brothers did not merge with Paramount. But anyways, thank you all for joining me on this live stream. So what's my next thing? I'm probably not going to do a live stream this month because I might be an extra live stream this month because I'm quite busy with some things. But I am open to doing another request challenge, something I used to do on DeviantArt when the live stream was unavailable, when I was out of monetization. But I thought for this request challenge, it's for the better because I asked people if I should do a live stream on this, but people freaked out because they say they're not a fan of something that has 8 legs, let's say. They say they're not a fan of something that has 8 legs, can shoot something from their butts, and depending on its level, the bites and the venom, let's say. So that's all I have to say, really. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for these wonderful live stream requests. I'll post them all tomorrow or the day after, and I'll get everything sorted out. Hope you've enjoyed this video.